how's it, guys? We're almost live. I just want to take a quick bathroom break. We took a little bit longer to get set up, but we will be live pretty soon. We're going to be chatting Pro Tour. We're going to be drafting our groups. We had to have a little bit of change in structure, but still going to be our usual 6 rounds of Magic. So just stay tuned, and we're going to get into all of that pretty soon. Give us 5 to 10, less than 5 minutes. It'll be quick. Hello, what's happening, guys? Welcome to our online stream. So, yeah, this is the internet's going wild now. It's the box within the box within the box within the box. Before I break it, let me just change out of it. So I just wanted to have a so unfortunately we've had a few dropouts. We haven't had people register on time, which is a little difficult. It's been a little bit disappointing, but at the same time, shit happens. And the one thing was there was an intention of possibly canceling or kind of canceling the event, and I decided against it because organizing and putting out the intention, if we are to create a space, we need some level of commitment. And if I don't commit and someone doesn't commit, there's a kind of fall in consistency, there's a fall in drive, and we kind of lose momentum. And we'll touch a bit about that a little bit later with the regards of Pro Tour and competitive Magic. So I just want to get the admin out of the way, which is the group stages and the kind of allowing everyone to fall into the just to be drafted. So because we only got 12 players, which is a little disappointing to see that we've only managed to get 12 people instead of 16, which I don't think is a lot for competitive Magic. If we're wanting to grow the scene, usually the stats say that 10% of the Magic community is a competitive community. So if we're using that as a driver, I think we've got way more than 160 casual players, maybe more than 200 casual players. And if we want to grow the community and kind of develop it, we have to kind of increase the competitive space. The competitive space is also the space that really gets to showcase the rules, the high level interactions, and this is why I enjoy competitive Magic. This is why I like to have fun. I enjoy organizing these things because the competitive spirit is the beautiful expression of this, rather than just playing at an FNM, rather than just playing casually. You get the opportunity to actually play at a high level, right? So the intention for us is to always, there's no take backs, and as a movement teacher or yoga teacher or practitioner, I trained with some UFC fighters, and I would never say myself as a competitive fighter. I never call myself a professional fighter, not in any regards. But when you get to train and play at that level, it is an exposure to what it's an exposure to the how's it Stefan, Skinnylicious. So I just want to say shot for Stefan, he's in chat. But that exposure to a competitive element really showcases how far you are from your actual ability, or how far you are from playing at a professional level. That's something that's just been announced. The Pro Tour is back, thank God. Competitive Magic. This is why I actually streamed Paper Magic, because during the pandemic it was a thing that I missed. Something that I enjoy is just putting on some Magic games and watching them, seeing the different decks in the meta, understanding, learning all of those things. I mean, that's a huge element about competitive play. And when I explain competitive play to non-Magic players, the word I like to tell them is, knowing the deck is one thing, but when you watch two professional players play at such a high level, you get to see them they might as well just have their hands open, right? The way they're playing around certain spells, the way they kind of bypass certain timings, these things are what make an average player okay player, and that's the difference between being a really great player. And you don't get that if you don't play competitive Magic. If you keep playing FNM, you'll be like, oh my god, I hate control. But as a competitive player, control is one of the easiest decks to play against, if you know how to play against it, right? Having that experience, having that ability to know that being proactive versus being reactive is a huge thing in Modern, right? You don't want to be sitting and doing nothing for 3 turns. You don't want to be doing any of those things. And I want to have a little bit of a deep dive into the competitive Magic scene, because we can't do a lot of this if we are not being proactive, if we're not kind of engaging. And I limited this event to 16 players because I always thought, 16 should be comfortable, should be easy if we're trying to head towards those things. And I always felt a little let down this weekend. It's there's only so much effort I can put in to developing and creating this space for it, but I also need a little bit of assistance from players, people in the community, for us to work together. The sad thing is I've had to adjust the venue. I can't actually have it at Nexus because I've been wanting to pay a table fee to the stores to, even though I'm running this at a loss if I'm doing that, but in the intention that if we grow the stores, we're growing the players, we're growing all of our community, right? It's not about me coming and having an event at my house every time. I mean, it's beautiful, it's fun, but that's not going to give us what we need in our final goal of trying to, I've always kind of vocalized this, is I want to have a PTQ in SA. Now that's never going to happen if we don't have members pitching up, we don't have people playing. I know we've had a lot of stores kind of fall through. So I want us to have that conversation a little later. So that did you. The venues had to change. It's going to be at Movement Sanctuary, which is 153 Bryanston Drive. It's my yoga studio, home. So I'm going to invite everyone back in. It was our first GCL, so it might be a nice throwback to that space. The other thing is, because we short the players, I've had to restructure the group dynamics. So instead of having 4 groups, and it doesn't make sense to have 3 groups, I will be having 2 groups, an even split of 6 players and 6 players. We were going to run it not in the traditional sense of a round robin that we used to. We're going to be running it as a normal F&M with 3 rounds and 6 players in each, and the top 4 going into the finals. So there's a chance that certain players might not play within their group. However, they will be allocated into the finals. I will also ensure that the pairings after the finals, there's only the top seed and the bottom seed, and then the middle 2 seeds are kind of on each leg. So second and third will have the chance of playing each other, but the first and second will only play in the finals if that ever comes up. Same thing for second and third; they'll only play in the semis to get into the finals. Just to allow people to play outside of the groups. It also ensures that the sideboards aren't kind of focused just to tearing through the groups. It'll also make sideboarding a little bit more difficult because there are not only 4 players, but there are actually 6 players. So you're going to have to have a little bit of a slightly diverse thing. I will chat to the guys. I want to just confirm the price structure before we get started, just because we've lost a fair amount. So I'm okay with that. I'm taking this as a loss because this is what I'm kind of contributing into the space. This is my intention, is to grow, and sometimes we got to put in a little bit in the hopes of getting something out. So hopefully we get to go through all of that. And yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the draw. So I'm gonna just take a quick copy of all the players that are available. So I want to thank everyone for actually reaching out. I want to thank all the guys that have been committed to playing every week or every GCL. I do appreciate it, because that means we have a tight net of competitive players. For the people that reached out, thank you as well, because this is what it takes to build this community. This is what it's going to take to hopefully get a pro tour here, guys. I know it sounds crazy and obnoxious, but if we don't have that belief, if we don't have that drive, it is a luxury, and I enjoy luxuries, and I want us to have that luxury of saying that we have some of the best players in the world. And I know Tiens has made Mythic, Dave Raynica has made Mythic on their limited thing. There's a few people on the groups that I've noticed have posted to make Mythic. So we have strong players. We have that ability. We just need that commitment. We need to kind of create that space. We have to draw in new players. We have to be a little bit more friendly. We have to kind of allow for that. So I really want to drive this home, guys, because this is what's going to ensure that we have a great kind of Magic scene. So here's the random generator. We are looking for 2 groups. We are going to be doing, I have hopefully pasted. Yeah, so let's just go through the members. We've got Stefan Rutz, our main man at Solar Pop. We've got Enrico, the poker player of Magic, always kind of nice and competitive. We got Kieran, always playing the nicest, spiciest, and top tier decks. Good friend of mine. Got Brandon also just here in the background. We just finished training together, some Budokan. So if anyone wants to kind of have a feel of that martial arts space I was talking about, you're welcome to pop in on a Thursday. We train some calisthenics, some hard, intense yoga practices. We've got Herman Fenter, also OG Jund player. Exactly what he's playing now, Jund. So some things just never die. So that's also a beautiful kind of expression. We got Jacques Henning, also mid-range player, also super competitive, also PTQ player, right? So this is what I want us to know. It's like if we are playing against the best, yes, we might not win all the time. We might not have all of the opportunity, but remember, this entrance is really cheap. 200 Rand is what we're paying to pay to go to Geeko to get MH2 boosters. We're getting cash. Yeah. If you look up Jund in the is Jund in the dictionary? Oh my word, I've got to look that one up. See if you can send me that definition, Stefan, I would appreciate. Also got Hugh Besma, really gentle person. I loved Hugh. Whenever I have a chat with him, he's always open to new ideas. I'm so glad that he's actually playing. I'll have a look at the Jund description soon. Jo, I want to say, really strong player, winning some EGG competitions. You'll see, he picks up a deck. He's played Hammer with he's playing pretty consistent. Always kind of making it into the final top rounds. Still has to make the top 4. I'm hoping he can kind of push through this thing. We've got Peter Funny Kak, also strong player. If you look at Haman's actually taking my fall season pyromancers here, so yeah, I'm quite amped for that. Then we've also got Rashawn, really young player, really up and coming player. I'm lending him a deck for the event. The last event I loaned him a deck. He made it into the semis. So this is what I mean by bringing in the new players, bringing in, we've got these collections, allowing the youngsters to enjoy or at least play a little to feel how the game operates. So yes, we can brew, we can have the deck, but it's nice for youngsters to feel the power level of certain things and allow them the opportunity to kind of create. And that's why this event is structured in that way, is to give us that opportunity of high level decisions, like picking one card for a sideboard, allowing one element of the game to be exposed, which is what you only get in a pro tour. Like, you'll see the pro teams, the guys will have almost 74 cards with a 1 card change, or 2 cards different, or 1 main deck change. Even though they're in the same team, everyone has a different way or style of playing these things. And that's what I want us to expose. Like in SA, we've got the Wild West. We've got crazy metas. We don't have the access to the cards immediately. We have to wait 2, 3, 4 months to enjoy all of that. This is Shadow, just homage to Death Shadow. He definitely steals your life and kind of goes through it. And then the next person I want to take is Julian Antonio. He kind of he's a new player, friends with Jo, friends with Brandon, also youngsters that we're trying to get into, who we've kind of brought into the game, which I like to take responsibility for it. Just handing them decks and letting them crush the bigger guys is always fun for me to see, because that means I've been building nice and beautiful decks, maybe playing them terribly, which is maybe why I'm behind the camera and not playing against you guys, because it'll just maybe be a waste of money for me. But that's a story for another day. And then we've got Sebastian. Sebastian's been playing a lot of TCG games. He's also used to play Pokemon pretty competitively. We'll get it into a little bit of a discussion around that. And if you guys have any questions, any comments regarding competitive play, please drop them in chat for us to kind of address. So without ado, with all the introductions done, we are going to see our teams being generated. So good luck, guys. I hope you all the best, and may the best top deck win. Okay, so group 1 is Hugh Besma playing Amulet Titan, J.O. Quark playing Blue-White Control, Herman Fenter playing Jund, Rashawn playing Azorius Hammer Time, Julian playing also, so we got 2 amulets in the thing, so we might have an amulet mirror. We got Brandon playing Sultai Control. Yeah, this is all from memory, guys, so it's nice to see everyone's list. This is and I like this spice. So that's group 1, 2 amulets. We've got 2 control decks, a kind of combo deck in terms of Hammer Time, and then your ultimate Moon Rage deck, which Hamren's playing Brumajan. We're going to go into those a little bit more once I pull up the visuals for everyone, just to give us a little bit more depth into what we are wanting to watch, what we want to observe. The next one is Group 2, which is Kieran Mani playing Yawgmoth combo. Got Jacques Henning playing Boomer Ragavan, or Sagavan, yeah, Boomer Sagavan. So a little bit of a Jund variation, almost as close to Hammond's list, but a little bit leaning more towards Uza Saga, a really powerful card. Then we've got Enrico playing his favorite, is it Tempo or is it Murktide at this moment? Really strong, top tier deck. And Sebastian, as I said, playing Azorius Stoneblade. Nice to see a little bit of control, a little bit of tempo. It'd be nice to see if he comes through. Also got a nice I saw he's got playing 4 Supreme Verdicts. Crazy and insane. And that might be a little bit of a tough one for Peter van der Kjork to have to deal with. Playing Humans. Humans is got a tough group to go through, with Stefan coming with Band Control, one of the nicest and spiciest lists I've seen so far. I think I played against his list at Nationals. Very strong. It was a hard-fought game for me with Rhinos. So let's have a look at this. I've taken a screenshot for us, so we've gotten that. And let's go to the deck visuals, right? So we had, let me take this across. Oop, not that one. That goes across for me. And just while we are looking, so let's go to Hugh Besmer, looking at his amulet list. So Hugh playing classic list, Arboreal Grazers, Dryads, Primeval Titans, playing 1 Expedition map, 1 Azusa, 2 Cultivators, Amulets of Vigor, 2 Turn Symbiosis. I've always liked that card. Very nice card from Kaldheim, still in standard. 2 Besagers, nice kind of control element, gives him a nice out to any of the hate pieces that he might find. Playing 2 Valakuts, giving him that Valakut win if necessary through Prime Time and Dryad. And 1 Lair of the Hydro, nice and kind of list, one that can close out the game if you can generate quite a bit of mana on 1 turn and then go for a 1-shot kill. So nice list from Hugh, almost standard, 1 or 2 kind of tweaks from him from what he feels good. So that's from Hugh. Next one is Jo playing Azorius Control. Let's have a look at what he's doing. Also pretty stock, playing 3 Solitude, 3 March of the Worldly Light, 3 Prismatic Endring. I always like that 3 number in terms of 4-offs. Always feel like, too many. With certain cards you want to draw into them. You don't want to have them in your main hand. 3 Teferis, Archmage's Charm, Supreme Verdicts, Memory Deluge. So really strong. Playing 1 Wandering Emperor and a nice add, 2 Teferis as the win con, and 1 Shark Typhoon. Nice. Very interesting on the 1 Shark Typhoon. Is that my alternate win con as well? If you can land it in the late game, pretty good in control mirrors, and I think it might kind of work out in his group with a little bit more mid-range and combo coming out of that group. The next one, Herman Fenter. Be wary, I might have to put this deck on stream because, or might not, I have to keep it away because it might glare with the camera because this deck looks shiny. I know he has spent a lot of time upgrading this deck, a lot of time kind of creating this, and I must say I'm a Jund fan, so when I see this card deck in foil, I can drool, I must say. So that's why I'm kind of giving Herman that Seasoned Pyromancer. Even though I've got 1, I know that it will just fit and complete a deck. This is also what it means to kind of let go. As much as I want to keep that, it's also nice to kind of share the love, which is why I'm also allowing my Peter to take my Reflector Mage, foil for Reflector Mage. So these are way we as a community grow and get to create these pet decks. So let's see, 2 Dark Confidants, nice card advantage. 4 Bloodbraid Elves, so really leaning on that top end. 1 Colligon's Command, 1 Terminate, 1 Maelstrom Pulse. Can't leave home without a Maelstrom Pulse in a Jund deck. I don't feel like it's a Jund deck unless it has that one-off Maelstrom Pulse. Playing an Assassin's Trophy, also a good card. Abrupt Decay. So it has a nice suite of one-offs. Could be really good in the humans. If you ever sees humans, Meddling Mage tends to be a house. The other ones, Inquisitions, Thoughtseize, 2 Fatal Push, 4 Lightning Bolts. So no Renin 6s, which I don't see. Wow, that's quite. Oh no, sorry, 3 Renin 6s. So got the option of closing out the game with Retrace on Renin 6. So good, clean Jund list, classic Jund list. Sometimes I like playing all the boomer lists just to see where it is. And that's the thing with Modern. It never really changes. If the decks do well, they do well. Next one is Rashawn playing my hammer list. Actually, I say it's his hammer list. He's updated it, made it a little bit of his own, because I said, it's one thing to play my deck, it's another thing to play your own, and that's the point of this game, is to build your own. So he's playing, I kind of told him to lean on the reality chip. It's an insane card advantage card in this deck, tutorable with your Stoneforged Mystics, and really breaks a board store, which is something that people should watch out for. There is some, playing a Nettlecyst, 2 Gingerbrutes, love that. I played one of them. The last time this deck went out, I think 2 insane tutorable from Urza Saga, unblockable. So definitely something that people have to watch out for. And the beautiful thing about it, it's hasty. Right? Not everyone is comfortable. Shadow, I'll come play with you just now. I know I haven't played with Death Shadow in a long time. Yeah, it's coming soon. The other thing, 1 Steel Shaper's Gift, nice tutor target for all of them. Classic. Also playing 1 Cauldron. Interesting main deck inclusion. Some have been putting it in the sideboard because they rather bring it in for the matchups. Just from a reality chip, might have been a bit of conflict in terms of playing off the top of the deck. If it's on the top, you're gonna have to find something to reset, but you can play around those, keep the fetches, keep them growling. So this is a very classic Azorius list, just splashing the blue for reality chip for the card advantage. Next one, Julian, also playing amulets. Let's see if there's any differences from Julian's list to Hughes. So only running 1 Beseju, that's where I see the slight difference. Two Azusa, so that might give him a little bit more explosive in the mirror match, allowing him to play 2 additional lands, very huge. Just allowing, if you can turn 2 Azusa, so powerful. That's usually allowing you to kill turn 2, turn 3. If you've got your amulets out turn 1, Azusa really, really powerful. It has kind of fallen out of favor because of the Dryad. Usually playing 1 land additional is good, but 2 lands and the 1 power has also kind of dropped Azusa because it's easily bolted, and I think that's just from the previous blue-red prowess lists, that kind of blue-red prowess meta, which kind of shifted it out and pushed it up. So pretty simple, pretty standard. So blacking on the Beseju, so it could be hated out with some ensnaring bridges or hate pieces that are generally fun. Last person, Brandon, playing a nice spicy control list. I asked him, he was asking me if I got cards, and then I was like, he sent me the deck list, and then asked me if I had some of these cards to borrow him, and eventually I was like, what the hell are you playing? Because you don't usually play these cards, right? Jaces, he's asking me for Jaces, then asking me for Murktide. When he asked me for Murktide region, that was when I was just like, what are we going with here? You don't want to play Murktide region. But as a shadow player, I do feel this is a beautiful list. It's got that tempo control version. It's got playing Snapcasters, something that we haven't seen in a while. Even playing Serum Visions. I mean, are we living in 2020? Or we're living in 2022. Okay, apparently sorcery speed draw spells are still a thing. And I think the digging and the ability, he told me he ported this deck from Legacy, just as a Legacy inspiration. So I think this is going to be a fun group. Group 1 is going to be a little enjoyable. So what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and have 2 cameras set up. So we'll try and have 2 feature tables here while we can, if that's available, just to allow us that option instead of having the 4 groups, which allowed us to have the multiple groups happening at the same time. We're going to try and keep that going, just having 2 matches on the table, just allowing us options to switch between. We're also trying to showcase that we have the quality and capacity in SA to show great Magic. That's why we're doing this, right? If we can show that, then we're more likely to get a PTQ and host a PTQ, because we've got the resources, we've got the ability to put all of that. We can do it at that same standard as what we might find in America. So next one that we're going for is Kiran Mani playing Yawgmoth. Classic Yawgmoth list, I must say. I didn't see anything kind of out of the ordinary, apart from the Magus on the Moon. Just before playing red. He doesn't even have a red card in his, it doesn't even have a red land. Do you know what I mean? But he is playing 4 Ignoble Hierarchs, 3 Birds of Paradise. So he does have the red to play it if he does need the turn 1. Playing 3 Grists, favorite card of the out of MH2. I think I love 3 mana Planeswalkers. It's like something I've just kind of gotten into. I think that's my Tiny Leader's inspiration. But playing 3 Grists, so allowing him to target creatures, Planeswalkers. So nice for the control. Control is a bit of a difficult matchup. Although the deck is resilient, 1/1. Currently, control has got a lot of exile effects, so it might be a little bit difficult with the Young Wolf, Strangleroot Geist, Wall of Roots. But this deck has the legs. This deck should not think you should not think that this is going to be a walk in the park. Yawgmoth can grind, and I think those are the decks that Kieran loves, is those decks that just can grind. So guys, if you're playing against him, get ready to grind him up. Next one, Boomerjan Sagavan for Jacques Henning. 4 Ragavans, good. 4 Seasoned Pyromancers. Damn. Since when have you seen any deck list playing that? I expect Jacques to bring in a little tweak, 1 off, 2 offs, just to find the right kind of feel for himself. I know Jacques likes to test, playing 4 Ren and 6s, really ensuring that he's got the lands to discard, to bring it back. So Seasoned Pyromancers, Ren and 6 looking like a very strong engine in this deck, powered with Oz's Saga, which is independent of all of that, and then got Lily of the Veil, which just eats combo decks and control decks for lunch. So definitely got something to work with. Always a strong player to have to deal with, so good luck for them. Anyone playing here, just 1 Terminate, Spellbomb, Inquisition, Thoughtseize. So I see Jacques taking the similar line with Spike, saying that, compared to the Herman's version, which playing 4 Inquisitions, 2 Thoughtseize, Spike saying, you know what, Thoughtseize is the must play now. Playing it 4 off, there's too many 4 mana spells, too many things that are outside of that. So I also kind of feel, I always hated the 2 life, but after getting my Thoughtseize poster signed by Alexei Briskalski, sorry, I'm probably botching that surname, I've fallen in love with this card. So good on Jacques, good luck for those, because this looks like also going to be a grindy group. Next one, we have Enrico, one of the strong players in SA. Always expect him to find at the final table unless he doesn't draw well that day. And then TX2, Enrico's out. But always nice to play against Enrico, always tough. It always feels like I'm playing a Pro Tour match with Enrico. It's like, I know what he's got in his hand, he knows what I've got in my hand, and it's just that kind of tension, that tug of war. It's always beautiful to watch. It's always amazing to see. So classic Murktide, 4 Murktide, 4 Darcy, 4 Ragavan, Bolt, Unholy Heat, Counterspell, Iteration. This deck just wants to run out and beat face. So Enrico, always a tempo player, no matter what format he plays. I've got Bird, got those things, but I know he's a tempo player at heart. I'm a very similar play style to him, so whenever I see his decks, I'm always like, yeah, we're playing the same thing. And this is where we always kind of know what's in each other's deck, and we know how we're playing each. So it's always got that kind of pro tour feel. Next is Sebastian playing Stoneblade. Quite amped to see this. Haven't had much time to have a look at it, but playing a very clean 4. He's got a great removal suite and 4 Solitude, 4 March of the Otherworldly Light. Really the removal of the format right now. Prismatic Ending, amazing to be able to hit Planeswalker, but except Otherworldly Light doesn't. So that we'll see if that plays any tension into the Renin 6s, playing into some of the more expensive Planeswalkers, making it a little bit more versatile. So maybe Jo might have had the right choice. We don't know. We'll always see those things: 3-3 split, 3-2 splits, or 4-4 splits. These are the calls that you have to make. What are you expecting from a meta? And what's nice about our format is you've got an option to say, hey, I'm feeling a little weak to Planeswalkers, or I'm feeling a little weak to enchantments, or I'm feeling a little bit weak in these things. And then you can add a few pieces to your sideboard, because this is what it's not a one game, it's not a best of one like you find on Arena, it's a best of 3. And that's beautiful for us to watch, because people also know what they're playing against. They know how to kind of play against this. So we get that pro tour attention. We get that level of play that you don't usually get to see at a high level event when deck lists are closed. And this also helps us manage the integrity of the game, because everyone has their cards kind of face up. No one can change in decks between the rounds. Everyone has to kind of observe, and that's the integrity I want us to keep in the community. Next is Peter playing his pet deck and slowly trying to foil it out. Hopefully it can be fully foiled by soon. Playing the new updated humans. Playing 4 Esper Sentinels, playing 4 Champion of the Parish. I think the 4 Esper Sentinels is going to do well with all the Jund and all the kind of spells. A lot of control in this group as well. Playing 4 Meddling Mages. Damn, it's going to be tough. Everyone's got to make sure they got the removal there. Playing 1 Turok. Great for all the white removal that I've been seeing in the control list. And maybe a little bit weaker to the Jund lists, but that's fine. Uprising Renegade. That was the one where Adeline Renegade Cat Bar. Jeez. Okay. I did not check this list. Give me 2 seconds. Yeah, I was like, I gotta double check this. Give me 2 seconds. Let me pull this up. Uprifter, what is it? Upriser, Renegade. I remember playing against this thing. He did smash my face with it. Oh, it gets +2/+2 for each other modified creature. This is pretty insane with the Talias, pumping it up. Really powerful. Also, a 1/3 body was pretty difficult for me to get through. So be wary about that. That's not a... and this thing grows pretty quickly with the Talias. The Adeline, this is also another spicy one. I think this came from the Crimson Vow. Adeline, it is. It was the Midnight Hunt. Vigilance is equal to the number of creatures you control, and whenever you attack for each opponent, create a 1/1 tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker. So really allows him to go wide, allowing a multiple triggers. So this looks like a very value orientated humans list, not the usual control, and also 0 Mantis Riders, right? huge core. You know, usually that is the top end and the curved for everyone to look at. Not today. And then the last one is each creature you control with +1/+1 has flying. Abzan Falconer. Wow. So really spicy this from Peter. I'm actually excited. I might actually ask him to put this on camera first because I didn't have to pay attention. But I think whoever pays up to him, I want to see how this list kind of performs. Next one, Stefan. Yes, band control. One of my favorites. Really looking forward to this. Icefang Quaddle. Favorite card in this thing. 3 Eternal Witness. Grind Engine of Note. Snapcaster. 1 Snapcaster. Oh, I'd love to see another one in there. But that, you know, it's hard to find the space in all of these things. 1 Tamio Field Researcher. Also a beautiful card from Eldritch Moon. You know, very tempo field. So even though this might seem like a band control list, this has a lot of tempo feel. Got a lot of the bounce, got restoration angels, got eternal witnesses, allowing you to ephemerate. So a lot of shenanigans in this deck. A lot of opportunities to kind of make way. A lot of opportunities to kind of create that value engine with eternal witness, ephemerate. Kind of going into those loops. Got your prismatic end rings to answer. Got otherworldly lights. So leaning a little bit more on prismatic endings. I don't know if that's a South African. You know, we couldn't get March of the Otherworldly Lights in time, which is what we have to do here. We've got to kind of find the next best version, and that doesn't mean your deck doesn't perform well, right? Just finding those slots, maybe tuning the deck to ensure that even though you might have suboptimal cards, that the overall deck is optimized for the field. So 2 Shark Typhoons might steady well in the control mirrors from the other deck, the other group. So from Group B, playing 1 Beseju to 1 Otawara from the Soaring City. Great cards that come out from Kamigawa. And 2 Cryptic Commands, something that's also kind of slowed down or shifted out. So Win Conditions, Jace, Resto, and Snapcaster and Eternal Witnesses, seems like it. So almost a band control with the creature base versus a classical control list that you'd see on JO's site. So yeah, those are our decks. That's our kind of format. That's our groups. So you guys, you gotta go put the sideboards together. Please update the links so that I can use the same links. These will all be fed into my into the pop out, so that when we do stream, all the decks will be present. Just to give us something that we've been doing differently that the international guys aren't doing. Something that hopefully showcases that we are onto something a little different, because everyone's usually asking for deck lists, and I thought this is a nice way of having it on the stream, having it right there. The stream deckers are nice, but sometimes they don't update well, they don't work well. So this was one of those choices that we made. So yeah, I'm excited. You know, I always feel like leading up, the admin can be training, but on the day, it is always an awesome event. You know, there's always competitive play. It's always a vibe because the games are close, the games are tight. So this is what we want to achieve in our expression, and that's the groups. So I wanted to kind of bring in, Brandon's been sitting in the background. I wanted to kind of chat Pro Tour. So we're getting the Pro Tours back. It's been a fun time. So Brandon's just grabbing a seat here, and I wanted to say, like, you know, for those who's has anyone experienced the Pro Tour apart from watching it? Yeah.
Dear Lord.
Yeah. Is that all the legs that we killed you today?
I'm in shambles.
Yeah, no, we trained pretty hard today. We kind of got our crap beaten out of us today. Legs burnt, shoulders burnt, and you know that's why we play Magic. It's a little bit of a mental breakdown, mental sweat. You know, so you can't just train body because you know we need a bit of brawn. And brawn, that's
brain.
not brain, not
Yeah.
brawn. Yeah, yeah. See, Yeah, too much brawn here today.
Clearly.
So yeah, we wanted to chat, like, as a South African community, like, how are we wanting to um, develop competitive play? How are we wanting to bring in players? Because we've had so many stores close down. I spoke about Dave Cohen being an inspiration for a lot of the Magic players that we've had. Having 60-player F&M is unheard of in this day and age. Magic might be a luxury sport. I mean, even playing sport competitively in SA is a luxury. You can't. Most of our athletes have to pay for their own flights. They have to pay for their own accommodation. You got to do all of those things. Like, in order for us to enjoy these things, we've got to understand that this is a luxury for us. And if we're wanting to enjoy these luxuries, we have to put in effort. I always used my Budokan experience when I went to train in Miami as a reference of privilege. I had to pay 15,000 rand for accommodation, and that's exclude, what is it, it was almost 15 for training. It was $1,000 US. Yeah, 15 was just the training, and then another 15 for accommodation and food. And then I ended up sleeping on a mat, when I say the floor, a Thai mat, and that was my accommodation and food. And I was like, and you flew across the world to learn all of these things, to train with this thing. And they said, okay, cool, if you're not happy with this, you can take your money and go. And you're just flown all over creative thing. And this is something that we've got to understand. We've got a lot of privilege in SA. We get a lot of, it's a privilege to be able to spend money on these cards, to go through these things. But if we want the privilege of competitive play, we've got to kind of co-create in this way. I'm not sure I have the answers. I'm not sure if I know how to kind of get it right. But I think we definitely have, as a community, if we're wanting this, if we're wanting it to be on a regular thing, because it has to be a regular thing if we want to even try and get the Pro Tour or try and compete on a Pro Tour level. The biggest event we've had recently was maybe a WMCQ qualifier.
That was ages ago, must have been as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was pre-lockdown.
Yeah.
I think that Tians, Dave Reniker, and who else was on that team?
Oh, I
Darren
remember.
Fox. Was it Darren Fox? I think it was. Yeah, so that was
ages ago. Jeez.
That was the last time we've had a really competitive event that linked us to the world tables or the world thing. I think the last time everyone kind of flew out was GP Amsterdam. A few of the guys, and then GP Bangkok was Kieran, and them I think did a recent one. They did that sealed with Salvesh. So the guys are playing competitively, right? We have to understand that to play at those states, it's a privilege, but not every South African is going to enjoy that privilege, because it is an expensive game. It's a very difficult game to, and I was speaking to some of the store owners, how can you justify spending 30,000 to fly and play a Magic tournament when you've got family, when you've got kids, when you've got to look after these things, and you play it for fun and you enjoy all of these things. I can't say that, I can't even justify it to go. I've tried to, when I've been in the training, I've tried to fit it in, but I can't just take a trip to just go play Magic. It's got to kind of synchronize. I've got to be in the right space, the right time they're having a GP, right? And maybe if we do all of these things right, maybe if we show high level competitive plays that we've got, maybe if we show that our production is up to a high level, maybe if we get enough people to an F&M that we're hosting 60-player F&Ms regularly, right? Not just one store, multiple stores, right? Then maybe we're getting product to be opened in those things. We're getting people through these stores. We're getting a lot more enjoyment out of this thing, because that's how we're going to grow this community. We all have to put a little bit of effort. We all got to kind of push in to get that. And I hope we can do this, right? Because, if we don't, we've got to understand the next substitute in economics. There's always a idea of a suitable substitute. You can have a product, say this pen for instance, but if you've got a suitable substitute for this pen, people are going to ask the decision, should I buy this pen or should I buy the cheaper one? Right now, Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon are cheaper. Right? That's the reality of it. The kids are going towards those things. If I don't lend the deck to Rashawn to play, you know, he might end up in playing Yu-Gi-Oh! You get all of the same thing, and we don't grow the Magic community. We actually losing all of those things. And you can start to see how stores are shifting away from hosting Magic towards hosting Yu-Gi-Oh! To hosting all of those things. And in all honesty, Magic players, we need to be more accountable. We got to take care of our spaces. You know, when you go to a Magic venue and you play a pre-release, like, take your booster packs and throw them in the bin. It's not hard. You're logical players that if you can't think that if I don't tap my mana at this point in time or float it, then I misplayed. Throwing rubbish on the table is misplaying in life. And we should, like, if you can't see that, then we're missing the whole point of why this game is so beautiful. We're missing the point of why this game has such a deep tie to all our personalities. You can see how people have chosen the decks. Like, the control players really like to enjoy, like, all their things have to be in line. There's a little certain OCD about it, you know, and that comes out in the way you present your decks, the way you tap your lands, the way you express that, and that's a whole subconscious thing that exists. There's also the beauty about Magic is there's a piece of the pie for everyone, right? It is a community of people, and we've got to kind of push that in some form, in some way, to try and get us to hopefully develop, hopefully build up, hopefully have a pro tour. So I hope we can get us consistently 16 players. I hope this is a thing that we can aim for at a regular. I think once a month is hard. It's not hard for us to allocate. Maybe the beginning, maybe the afternoon, maybe this was the first one where I just said, you know, it's my birthday weekend, I want to watch Magic and play Magic. And I didn't ask everyone, are they happy, are they comfortable, are they thing, you know, we probably should have done that. And ensure that, you know, I had been doing that in the previously, and then maybe that's the wrong thing that happened this time. But at the same time, guys, I know I'm asking for deck lists. The people who are organized gave me deck lists before, right? I'm still getting deck lists just before the stream. I've got to set all of these things up. You know, if you've worked in terms of, you know, if you're a working environment, if you don't deliver your deliverable on time, everyone else falls behind, right? And this is where we have to understand how we account for these things, is that we need to take responsibility. That yes, I might be doing this, right? But I can't just be doing it by myself. It takes us all to work together, right? The stores, the players, the people. And if we keep doing that, we're gonna create a beautiful space. And if we keep continuing and keep creating that, we're gonna have an amazing community. This was the original trading card game, before Pokemon, before Yu-Gi-Oh! Understand that, right? This is why it is more expensive. This is why it's the Ferrari of cards, right? Yu-Gi-Oh! We can all play it, right? But it doesn't have that high level of stimulus that Magic does. It doesn't have that high level of degree of play that you can go and play poker if you want to play competitively and earn money off this thing. But it is not as skillful as Magic, right? Being able to read and understand how certain decks operate and how you have to play that is why we play Magic. Because there's so many nuanced interactions that you didn't even think existed until you experienced it. And we're never going to experience a Pro Tour until we try and put those cards into our deck and try and create that space. And that's never going to happen if we don't build our community together. So guys, with that being said, let's get the competitive scene back and running. Let's get that 60 players. Let's do this for Dave, right? He's the one person that actually helped got all of us into it, got us all inspired to play. And there's nothing better in terms of creating a legacy or memory for someone. And remember, Dave's store went down for the same reasons, is we were apathetic. We lost that love. Yes, we don't have to play every day. We don't have to play every week, but we have to kind of create that community, and it starts with a little bit of dedication for now. And it starts with a little bit of processing, a little bit of playing. And that's how we get baby steps towards the big steps. I think we've done the baby steps of creating this environment, creating the GCL, and recreating the Gauteng champs. All of those things that we've had in the past. We can rename it, we can change the thing, we can rebrand it, but it's always going to die if we don't keep it going. So let's keep this going. Thank you guys. I'm going to be raiding you guys into a channel. I think I always like to send you guys to good players. There's Reed. Since there's so much Jund, sending it as Jund. You guys ready to Jund them out? I'll see you Saturday.
Wow.
Movement Sanctuary.
He's not playing Jund. He's playing Legacy Elves. Sick.
Oh, he's playing, yes, he's playing Elves. Amazing.
Your arch enemy deck.
My
Legacy Elves.
Oh no, it's I'd say Elves is my pet deck. But thank you guys. I'll see you guys on Saturday for the players. For those of you guys who are watching, we'll be live on Saturday. We will have the events happening, and again, we're going to be playing at Movement Sanctuary, 153 Bryanston Drive. Start time 10 o'clock. Deck list needs to be updated before the match starts, so that all of the decks can be popped out. So update the links. That's all we need to do, and we'll have a chat and discussion about prizes so that everyone can agree, everyone's comfortable, everyone is happy. So yes, guys, let's keep this going. Let's get our players. Like, thank you for joining. I'm sorry we didn't get our usual 16, but hey, such is life. We're gonna make changes and we're gonna adapt. Enjoy and have fun with Reed Duke. You got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 3, 2, 1, and you guys are out. Cool. Hopefully, I hope I didn't the rant was okay. It wasn't.